Van Halen. Just saying the name is like making a statement about an enduring legacy. The band, headed up by guitar maestro Eddie Van Halen, rest in peace, was a staple of 70s, 80s and somewhat 90s hard rock. And no one could ever deny the influence that the band had on the rock scene and on guitarists worldwide. But allow me to take 15 seconds to encourage you to like, subscribe and all that stuff. You guys are awesome, and thank you for just checking out this video. It really does mean the world to me. Look, this video is not debating which side you stand on when it comes to Roth or Hagar. Sorry, Gary. I totally appreciate both versions of the band for different reasons. But today, we're going to look at a song that didn't make the original album, was actually recorded in two different eras of the band, and was released as somewhat an apology. Yet, it's one of Van Halen's most intimate, heartfelt, and unusual recordings. Welcome to Should Have Been on the Album. Should have been on the album. To try and encapsulate the sheer breadth of Van Halen's story is almost impossible. There's far too much to include. So, for this, I'm going to keep it short and simple. Van Halen was an iconic American rock band that formed in Pasadena, California in 1972. The original lineup consisted of lead vocalist David Lee Roth, guitarist Eddie Van Halen, bassist Michael Anthony, and drummer Alex Van Halen. Very quickly, the band gained a reputation for their high-energy performances, spearheaded by the flamboyant David Lee Roth and Eddie himself, innovative guitar solos, and party anthems. Their self-titled debut album was released in '78 and immediately put them on the map with hits like Running with the Devil and the genre-defining Eruption. They went on to release a string of successful albums including Fair Warning and of course the massive 1984, which marked a change in their sound as demonstrated on the smash hit Jump. In 1985, David Lee Roth left the band to pursue a solo career and against some infighting, and was replaced by Sammy Hagar, who had been the lead singer of Montrose. Hagar's debut album with the band, 5150, was another massive success and spawned hits like Why Can't This Be Love and Dreams. Van Halen continued to release successful albums with Hagar, including OU812 and Balance, and embarked on several highly successful tours. However, tensions between Hagar and the Van Halen brothers eventually led to his departure in 1996. Van Halen continued to tour and record with a variety of lead singers, including Gary Cherone of Extreme, who fronted the band briefly in the late 1990s. Yet despite lineup changes and internal tensions, Van Halen remained a beloved band, and their music continues today to inspire new generations of rock musicians and fans. Sadly, Eddie Van Halen passed away on October 6, 2020, effectively ending the band. But he left behind an influence that is still felt in all corners of guitar playing and music. But today we go back to their Balance album, personally a hugely underrated release, and tap into the single Can't Stop Loving You. But it's the B-side that we're looking at, the only non-LP track ever released by Van Halen. Its name? Crossing Over. If you look around the internet, much has been said about Crossing Over, and I'll be drawing on a lot of the different sources about that song. To be honest, I actually own the Balance album, but I didn't know that this song existed until it was pointed out to me. And that's what this little show is all about. So, let's get into it. Originally titled David's Song, Crossing Over was written and recorded and played by Eddie Van Halen in 1983, inspired by the sad passing of his friend. Apparently, when Sammy Hagar joined the band in 1985, he was interested in recording the song, but Eddie said no, and the song stayed in the vaults. Of the song, Tom Bajour from Rolling Stone wrote that it was the darkest and emotionally raw song in the Van Halen catalogue. 10 years or so later, Van Halen's manager passed away from cancer, and again, Hagar looked to record the song as a way with dealing with the passing of their friend. This time, Eddie agreed, and the song was reworked to become Crossing Over. However, it wasn't included on Balance until the cover art caused some issues in Japan. To make up for the offence the cover caused, the album was reissued with new artwork and a bonus song, Crossing Over. Outside of Japan, the song appeared on the B-side of the hit Can't Stop Loving You, which is where many hardcore fans first discovered it. The lyrics deal with the loss of a loved one and the desperate desire to see them one more time. Hagar sings about trying to touch what is lost.
I'll reach across to the other side to make contact with you. Golden slumber, you fill my dreams. I make contact with you. Oh.
And you can also hear Eddie singing through his pain.
Never got to really know the way I want to now. So many things I didn't tell you. I wanna tell you now.
Then the two of them come together with a simple but powerful question.
Tell me why. You're crossing over.
The song is unique in so many ways, not least of all the way that it is presented musically. It places new instrumentation and vocals over the top of the original demo, rather than re-recording it all. You'll hear not only Hagar's vocal and lyrics, but also Eddie's original vocal from 1983. Eddie's original track is in the left channel of the recording, with the new drumming and vocals more stereo. It's created this sense of two sides coming together, bridging a gap between the past and the present. And yet, it never feels disjointed or at odds with itself. In fact, musically and sonically, it's exactly what the song is about. Really, it's quite an incredible track. It's unique from anything else that the band ever released. It's intimate, powerful, and revealing. This is a song of pain, written at a painful time, and you can't help but be affected by it. So with such an incredible track, it does beg the question, why isn't it on the album? My thought is that it's such a personal song that there's a sense that it's only for a few to hear. And maybe it's also because there are musical moments in it that resemble Love Walks In. Regardless, seeing it was released in Japan and as a B-side, it's fair to look at where it could go. Of the lyric-based songs, I really like them all. Yes, even the sappy ballad, Not Enough. The opener, Seventh Seal, is an absolute monster of a track and sets the tone for what's to come. The singles are fantastic. Don't Tell Me What Love Can Do showcases Hagar's incredible vocal delivery. Amsterdam is great fun and recalls their 5150 era. And of course, Can't Stop Loving You is a chart topper. As an album, Balance is so underrated. And even though the band was going through a tough time, it's remarkably cohesive. Well, for the most part, and I'm getting to that now. I think it's telling that one song didn't make the vinyl cut due to time restrictions, that being the instrumental Balakotherium. Yeah, if I've said that wrong, well. I also wonder about the mini instrumentals as well, Strung Out and Doing Time. Strung Out doesn't seem much like a song at all, more of an experiment in sound creation of dismantling a piano, or even the film scoring for a horror movie. Doing Time is Alex Van Halen doing some cool drumming, but not much more. Balakotherium has more structure and melody, and is a great instrumental with a fine groove. It really showcases Eddie's playing and sense of musicianship. So I reckon it stays. It fits with the album. And I can't quite believe it was left off the vinyl release in preference for the other two odd tracks. So I'd be getting rid of Strung Out and Doing Time and putting in Crossing Over as the last song on the album. It might finish Balance on an introspective tone, but the whole album has this emotional heaviness. That may be a result of the inner turmoil that the band was going through, so why not go with it? Crossing Over deserved to be heard and experienced in full. Crossing Over really is a gem of a track, and one that not only hardcore fans but casual listeners can appreciate and understand. The fact that it comes from such a deep emotional place makes it an incredible, passionate statement. So what are your thoughts? Leave them in the comments below. If you have a rare song or B-side that you think I should check out, please let me know. Shout out to Dover Dude for his Winger suggestion. I'm totally onto it. Be sure to keep an eye out for that video in the future. But until next time, my name is Drew, and you've been watching Should Have Been on the Album. Cheers.